Well, although the DA says that people will not be prosecuted, it could still happen. We want to find out more about that. So for that, we're going to turn things over right now and check in with attorney Tom Carr of the law firm Charlie Rinke. He joins us live now from our Albany newsroom. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Hey, no problem, Greg.
Well, we talked at 6 o'clock. We reported that there could be a special prosecutor appointed by the governor. Fill us in on that. Could that happen?
Yes, it could. This is similar to back in 1996 when New York reinstated the death penalty. The DA in the Bronx at that point, Robert Johnson, said he would not enforce a death penalty law. So the governor essentially appointed the attorney general as a special prosecutor, and any death penalty eligible cases in the Bronx from that point forward were prosecuted by the attorney general's office.
Obviously a huge difference between the death penalty law and trespassing and disorderly conduct. You know, we get a lot of emails into our newsroom from both sides. People saying, hey, they're peaceful, they're not hurting anybody, they're just exercising their freedom of speech. But others say, you just saw our web poll, they should be prosecuted. They committed a crime, they ought to be prosecuted. I get prosecuted if I commit a crime. You know, how do you figure that out?
Well, I think that the district attorney makes a good point. If you start arresting people, then they're going to be charged with low-level crimes like trespassing. They're not going to be put in jail. They're going to be released. More than likely, they're going to go back to the park, and these things can escalate. The protesters have already called for more protesters to join them, so the number of arrests could actually increase every day, which really would have a devastating effect on the local court system.
Now, we also hear a lot about the right of freedom of speech and the right to peacefully assemble, very important rights, but they're not guaranteed. Obviously, there are restrictions as to where you can speak and where you can assemble and how you do it.
That's correct. I mean, the usual example that's given is you can't yell out fire in a crowded theater. While the First Amendment does guarantee freedom of speech, there have to be limitations on that, and the courts generally tend to look at them as what's reasonable in the circumstances.
Tom, you had to look into a crystal ball. What do you think happens here? Do we see a special prosecutor? Do these folks get prosecuted?
I think we probably don't see a special prosecutor in this case. It's pretty clear that the entire city management, city government really doesn't want to go down that road. The governor has been pushing for it, but I think that with the low-level crimes we're talking about, it's probably unlikely we'd see special prosecutors on a mass scale here.
All right, Tom Carr, Charlie Rinke, great insight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No problem.
We'll see you again soon.